of the Rajya Sabha called for an all-party meeting to discuss how to restore public trust in the judiciary. On the streets, among lay people, the opinion is that the judiciary is above account and works behind a cloak of secrecy. In the legal fraternity, viewers, even in the legal fraternity, the disquiet is erupting into a veritable revolt, with the Allahabad High Court Bar Association stopping work indefinitely, protesting what they believe is a less than credible exercise to bring Justice Varma to book. All this even as the three-member Supreme Court Collegium, and you can see those pictures, viewers, to the left of your screens, right in the middle of them. A three-member SC Collegium committee, appointed in-house committee, began work with a visit to Justice Varma's home. It is to be presumed that the committee questioned Justice Varma about the cash discovered at his residence. Viewers, will this inquiry help to uncover the truth? Will justice be done and seen to be done? The jury is out. At least that's what a big section of lawyers think. They have stopped work. The entire Allahabad High Court Bar Association has stopped work indefinitely till their demands are met. A resolution has been passed and it says, and I quote, "Judges cannot judge judges." After this incident, the judiciary, especially the High Court and Supreme Court, may not be able to claim the moral high ground. The Chief Justice of India should immediately recommend to government to draw impeachment proceedings. For restoring faith of public, collegium system is required to be revisited so that a transparent system is introduced, unquote. The dwindling faith in a pillar of Indian democracy has not escaped, therefore, the attention of the Parliament. As I said, viewers, the Vice President today called for an all-party meeting to evolve consensus on reviving legislation to increase transparency in the appointment of the judiciary and asset declaration process. Jagdeep Dhankar said, and I quote, "Now before the nation, there are two situations. One, what emanated from the Indian Parliament, duly endorsed by the state legislatures, sanctified by the Honorable President by appending signatures under Article 111. And second is a judicial order. Now we are at a crossroads. I strongly urge members to reflect. Issue concerns much beyond judicial mess. It concerns sovereignty, supremacy and relevance of Parliament." Views, what is he talking about? He's talking about how unanimously, in a rare show of unanimity, cutting across aisles, Parliament passed the NJAC that would have brought transparency to the entire process of appointing judges. And he says that unfortunately that was struck down. So we are at a crossroads. Strangely, viewers, a section of the opposition, perhaps putting politics above the national interest, are making insinuations that appear to be aimed at preserving the untenable status quo. Can you believe it, viewers? Mahua Moitra, TMC MP, says, quote, "Just like Election Commission has been emasculated by the government takeover, this media brouhaha is the beginning of an effort to bring back the National Judicial Appoints Commission." We saw the same thing in the Sushant Singh Rajput case, when an innocent woman was vilified. The same thing happened in my case, unquote. Someone tell Mahua Moitra, someone tell this lady, this honorable member of Parliament, that the TMC itself, almost to the last member, voted for, viewers, the NJAC. Please, someone tell her. Vivek Tanka, Rajya Sabha member of Parliament and a lawyer, says, "I have concerns about judicial accountability, but I also do not support executive interference in judicial appointments." Viewers, right from 1950 onwards, till the second judge's verdict in 1993, it was the executive that was appointing judges. The collegium only came recently, viewers. It's not the oldest institution. Is Mr. Tanka saying that the great Nehru, the great Indira, the great prime ministers of the past that they constantly eulogize were not to be trusted? That they had suborned the judiciary? I don't know, viewers, it makes no sense. Akhilesh Yadav, Samajwadi Supremo, He's absolutely off the wall, viewers. He says, quote, maybe he, Yashwant Varma, had borrowed that money. Only a small amount has been seized. We have seen several hundred crore rupees seized in Uttarakhand, but till date, it has not been ascertained whose money it is, unquote. Viewers, even if 1 rupee unaccounted for comes out of the pocket of a judge, it is a massive indictment. Massive. But the status quo cannot hold, viewers. Whatever these opposition leaders say, after the Justice Varma case, the judiciary cannot go back to business as usual. And let me tell you, viewers, let me tell you that in this country, judges have been scrutinized for misconduct, but disciplinary action often stops short of criminal prosecution due to judicial immunity, collegium controller, appointments and lack of political will. And I'm not talking through my head, viewers. I will take the risk tonight of giving you the hard facts. What do we know, viewers? Let's look at the Justice V. Ramaswamy matter. First judge to face impeachment in 1993. The allegations were misuse of office, extravagant expenditures as Chief Justice of the Punjab and Haryana High Court. Action taken, an impeachment motion was brought in Parliament. But what happened? The motion failed as Congress MPs abstained. No criminal case followed. And believe it or not, viewers, the judge was politically reinstated. Justice Sumitra Sen, impeachment recommended, resigned in 2011. Now let me tell you, the allegations were misappropriation of public funds. As a lawyer before becoming a Calcutta High Court judge, action taken, Rajya Sabha passed the impeachment motion. The outcome, he resigned before Lok Sabha could act, avoiding further proceedings. No criminal action was taken, viewers. None whatsoever. Justice P.D. Dinakaran, corruption allegations in 2011 were brought against him. Land grabbing, disproportionate assets while serving as Chief Justice of the Karnataka High Court. Action taken, faced impeachment proceedings. What was the outcome, viewers? Resigned before trial, preventing further action, no criminal charges. Reforms must take place. The judiciary cannot remain a closed corporation that appoints itself, stands in judgment of itself, gives itself free rein and discloses assets only to itself. Because, viewers, as I told you, it hasn't gone well. I've given you the examples and there are more. I want to open this up, viewers. This is going to be an important discussion tonight. Has the time come to revive efforts to bring transparency to the appointment of judges? And are those politicians tonight who are standing in the way, who are maligning, using rumors, innuendo, insinuation, putting their own political interest above, viewers, the national interest? I want to first begin with a person who joins us from the Allahabad High Court and practices there. His name is Advocate S.M.A. Kazmi. Kazmi Saab,
S.A. Kazmi.
You have all gone into strike mode. What is the issue, sir? Why have you gone into strike mode? The collegium is doing such a good job, they say. So many people are saying. They are all getting a pat on their back, saying wonderful things. You have done an absolute full disclosure. You have put the cash videos out. You have appointed 3 people. You are going to bring this gentleman to justice. But you are protesting. You are striking indefinitely. Can you explain to the viewers why, sir?
See, to explain this, the strike.
Yes, sir, I can't hear you. Okay, we've lost you. We've lost you. I'll come back to that gentleman. I'll come back to the gentleman. But let me ask tonight, and this is an important question, Satyapal Jain, Additional Solicitor General of India. Mr. Jain, why today are lawyers striking, people's faith shaken, many people coming out, including in Parliament today, wanting to discuss or revive a process that would bring greater transparency and perhaps even democracy to the working of the judiciary? Is this required, or is this an attempt by the executive to chain the judiciary, as some people are alleging, sir?
Sir, today the Indian judiciary, the parliament and the total system as such is facing a very, very serious challenge. The credibility of the institution, judiciary, which is the highest respected institution out of the 3, And if there is a dispute somewhere, even in a village, in a town, people say, boast ke all right, aana kachari mein tumhe main kachari mein dekhunga. A single incident where a huge amount is reported to have been recovered from the residence of a sitting judge of the High Court has shaken the faith of the common man in the judicial system as such. I am not saying all judges are corrupt. I am not saying all are like that. Most of the judges are doing their job honestly, sincerely. But even one incident is sufficient to shake the confidence of the people. I must appreciate the lead taken by Shri Jagdeep Dhankar ji, who has been a very senior advocate before his elevation as the governor and the vice president in solving this issue. The time has come when we have to deliberate on 2-3 issues. Independence of the judiciary is the supreme. Nobody can do anything which twinkle the independence of the judiciary. At the same time, some internal mechanism has to be found out, some outsources have to be found out, where such type of allegations are taken to the logical end at the earliest. I am very happy as a lawyer that the Honorable Chief Justice of India, the Collegium, has immediately taken steps because they have all their own reservation. The committee has been constituted. The committee is investigating the matter. At present, the only solution is the impeachment. And impeachment, takes time. Now, I think all should sit together, the ruling, the Congress, the other parties. Let's rise above party politics. The judge, corruption doesn't belong to any party. If a judge is doing corruption, he is neither to this party to that party. We committed mistakes earlier. Ramaswamy was the Chief Justice of my High Court. I was practicing as a lawyer and I know how things were in circulation even before the report came. But when his impeachment came, only because he was from a particular state, south, north, political consideration, it was dropped. We have seen the case of the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha MPs taking bribe on the floor of the house. It is the Supreme Court which said, no, since you have done something on the floor of the house, then you can't be criminally liable over that. I think the time has come, all parties put together, maybe TMC, maybe DMK, maybe Congress, BJP, should sit together. Let's save the nation. Let's save the judiciary. Let's save the system. If this type of incidents come from here and there, imagine those people whose cases were decided by this honorable judge.
Yes.
A few days back, few months back, what will be their plight? What will be in their mind? Even if it was decided on a merit, I am not attributing any motive.
Yet
the only thing which must have gone to their mind is that, look here, I have been the victim of this. It shakes the confidence in the entire judiciary. But I must say, last point, Indian judiciary had stood such challenges in the past. It was the old system. The judges who came out of it, Mr. Khanna, Mr. Hegde, who fought against emergency. It was Mr. Jagmohan Sinha, a sitting judge of the Allahabad High Court, who set aside the election of a sitting prime minister, which has never happened in the entire world history. We are proud of those judges, but such type of
but then I'll ask you. Then I'll ask you, Mr. Jain. Let me ask you this.
Shunted out, strict action.
Let me ask you this. The Chief Justice of India, therefore, today's Chief Justice of India, you have just cited his legacy, his ancestral legacy, his forebear, who took on a system, did something revolutionary. If there was really a desire for change, do you believe, sir, that in this matter, do you believe the judiciary, this particular Chief Justice of India, missed an opportunity to set an example? Why didn't he go ahead with an FIR, for example? Why hasn't he handed this matter to a independent agency, CBI, ED, whatever it is? Why is it that he hasn't referred this matter to the Parliament? What is going on?
See, you have to appreciate the limitations of the collegium also, the Chief Justice also. So far as I am concerned as a lawyer, I think the collegium, the Chief Justice has done the maximum that they could do. Of course, when you are taking a decision and we are analyzing a decision, your perception can differ. I am very confident.
No, but the Allahabad,
the collegium will take it to the logical
but
end.
the Allahabad Bar Association doesn't think that judges should be. In fact, Mr. Kazmi is back. Mr. Kazmi, we have just heard, and I have to tell you this, that I really salute Mr. Jain tonight because he has gone the furthest amongst a large number of lawyers who have come and sat and jurists who have sat on this channel over the last few days. And he has really said the time has come to peel away this immunity layer one by one. The time has come. And he's even complimented Mr. Dhankar, but he does say that, oh, you see, the collegium is also bound by it and the CGI is also bound by his various compulsions, etc. What compulsions can there be, viewers? And I want to ask you, Mr. Kazmi, what bigger compulsion than serving the people honestly? That should be the only compulsion, in my view. Take me to the cleaners. I don't care, but I'm going to say it tonight. I stand with the public interest. Is the collegium standing with the public interest?
Well, I'll put it this way, that the public interest and the interest of the nation lies in the dependability and the integrity of the judiciary. And like anything else, it is fallible. But when a situation like this arises, you cannot try to escape what is obvious. One has to come very transparently. Our difficulty is there are two parts of it. One, the decision to send the concerned judge back to Allahabad, that does not solve any problem. How can you transport corruption and expect that to be a solution of a problem? Even in the past, there has been incidents where a particular judge has been transferred to a smaller high court, suppose Sikkim High Court, for the reason that there might be a complaint against that person. But how this incident is different from the others, that there is a particular video which you are showing right now, I can see. This has shocked the nation. What if that particular judge had the integrity and the soundness and the respect for the institution? Because one must understand that the institution is larger than anybody, any individual, any one of us, including the judges. He should have come out clean. He should have offered himself that a probe of CBI or ED should be conducted against me, and I will only enter my premises, not only of the court, but also of the official bungalow which has been allotted to me, and I'll only wear my gown once I have been cleared of all the charges. But in the chain of incidents, what we see that initially the incident took place on 14th and there is not a whisper. We have been told by the media that all the collegium members of the Supreme Court were not made aware of the situation. Subsequently, when a particular video is leaked, it seemed that initially there was efforts within to put a blanket.
So implicit in what you are saying, implicit is a deep distrust of this process. Do you believe
Correct.
this process is destined to fail, and even if it does succeed, it will always be questioned? It will never be above question. Is that what you're saying?
That is what we are saying. So the issue is that it could have been handled differently.
How?
The concerned judge should have himself offered himself for an investigation or probe by CBI or ED of equivalent agency, which is different from the internal inquiry of the judiciary. B, he should have stepped down himself and see that transporting a corrupt judge or allegedly a corrupt judge from one court to another is no solution.
Okay.
It is only transporting the corruption along with the corrupt alleged.
So you're saying that as things stand, you have reservations about the unimpeachability of the process that is being at this moment relied upon.
Right.
This is a very big claim, viewers, very big claim,
So
and it's
in
worrying.
unusual circumstances, we need to take unusual steps.
Unusual
If a sitting
steps,
chief minister
unusual
for
circumstances,
allegation of
call for
corruption
out
can
of
be
box,
impeached
unusual.
and can be probed by
Okay,
the
so let me bring in
investigating
Tausif Khan.
agencies,
Tausif
then
Khan,
why
yet,
not for the
and you
judges
know,
of the court?
one second, let me bring in Mr. Tausif Khan. He's an advocate. And let me tell you, we may not have agreed in the past, Mr. Tausif Khan, but tonight is a matter of salience. All Indians must put their party affiliations, they should subsume them to the national cause. And I have to ask you, Mr. Tausif Khan, take a position tonight against Mahua Mitra and others from the TMC who have come out to say that this is an attempt by the media, by people like me, to try and enable the BJP and the NDA to wrest control of the judiciary. Do you think this is a fair statement to make? Am I some part of media brouhaha, some Godi media that is trying to ensure that the executive has control over the judiciary? Mr. Tausif Khan, tonight, tell me.
Rahul, the entire media, the mainstream media generally is part of the Godi media team. You see, today we are having a very serious discussion about the independence of judiciary. Now, Mr. Dhankar has brought the ghost of NJAC back for an ulterior motive, for the political purposes. The NJAC had been discussed, done and dusted by the Supreme Court, held as an unconstitutional law. and therefore it is the foregone chapter. Today, on the face of the corruption being discovered at the highest level of judiciary, what are we concerned about? We are concerned about that the judge should be removed as quickly as possible, and the confidence of people should be restored in the judiciary. Now, the constitution talks about separation of judiciary from the legislature and other branches of the government. And why does constitution say that? Because the most majority of the litigation are against the government, and a government cannot be seen to be appointing judges who will definitely, there's a question mark, there's a conflict of interest whether that judge who is appointed by government will pass a judgment in favor of him or not. So the NJAC is over. Today we really concerned about whether Justice Varma or Sharma, I'm forgetting his name,
Varma,
should really resign on his own, or should have to go through the humiliating procedure of impeachment. We are really concerned about that.
One second,
This
Mr.
is a
Tawseef Khan,
question.
let's not
We
go
live
there,
in
please.
a-
I can't,
live
we
in a
cannot
era
impugn, we
where
cannot impugn a
Prime
person
Minister
who
goes
is under
and meets
investigation.
the
No, one
Chief
second, Tawseef
Justice
Khan,
of
that
India.
statement I will not allow. We cannot,
No.
we cannot suggest, we cannot impute guilt.
Please
One
don't
second,
interrupt.
no, it's dangerous
No, you
territory.
please wait 1 second.
One second,
We live in
sir,
an
please,
era
let's just go back
where
on
the
what you were saying. I'm
Prime
interested
Minister
in the first
goes-
part of your statement,
Prime
Tawseef
Minister
Khan
goes
Saab.
and meets the Chief
Please.
Justice of India.
No,
When
please
the
listen to me.
Constitution talks about separation
Listen
of
to me.
power.
1 second. I
Constitution
understand that. So
talks
I'm
about
asking you a
separation
follow-up
of
question.
judiciary
Can you
from
answer this
legislature.
question?
And we see
Can
the
you
Prime
answer this
Minister of
question,
India
sir?
goes and meets with the Chief Justice of
One
India on the
understands
steps
all of that,
Diwali.
but can I come back to you, sir, with a small question? You say that yes, there should be a separation of powers. I agree too. But the NJAC number 1 was struck down by the Supreme Court. And do you know what the Supreme Court said, viewers? It said that we have acted according to the will of the people. Viewers, how do the judges?
No,
how
that's
does the,
wrong.
One second.
That's wrong. No, Rahul, what you're saying is wrong. Please show the judgment whether the reasoning is based on the will of the people.
No,
You are
it was
blatantly telling
a
lies.
reference.
The
I'll
judgment
open
gives
this up.
reasoning
1 second.
based on the
It was a
Constitution.
reference that was made. One
And
second.
the violation of that constitutional provision,
One
Prime
second.
Minister did when
One
he went
second,
and
sir.
met the Chief
1
Justice of
second,
India.
please. 1 second, please. 1 second, please, sir. 1 second. And most importantly, viewers, you can quibble on the fine print, but most importantly, think about this. 2/3 of parliament, all political parties, even the TMC down to the last almost but one MP, voted for the NJAC. What has happened since then, viewers? This happened in 2016. Modi was firmly in the seat with an overwhelming majority. Today, he doesn't even have a majority. It is incumbent upon him to build consensus. And these people are pulling out these rabbits. I want to bring in Deshratham Nigam. I also want to bring in Mr. Som. Mr. Deshratham Nigam. Today we are being told by Tawseef Khan that look, any move to revive, and I'm not saying that you bring the NJAC back in the same permutation and combination. You can make changes to it. You can make it more palatable. There are ways of working the system. I'm asking you, sir, would this be an egregious assault on the independence of the judiciary? An attempt by NJAC, bringing a new, renewed, reformed NJAC, whatever it is, would it be amounting to controlling the judiciary through the executive? Many people today say that Mr. Modi is a very powerful Prime Minister and he has suborned every institution. He's only waiting to get his hands now on the judiciary.
Well, Rahul, in fact, let me put a historical context. And that historical context is the Constituent Assembly discussed Article 103 of the draft and 193, which later became 124, Article 124 and 217 of the Constitution, where the Constituent Assembly clearly discussed whether executive should have the sole power. There were suggestions there should not even be consultation with the judges.
Yes.
However, after the deliberation, in 124 and 217, it was said that appointment will be done by the executive after consultation with the judges of the Supreme Court or the relevant high courts or the CJI, depending on who is being appointed. Now, this is the original position of the Constitution. This is the basic structure. Now, nowhere it says that there should be a collegium system. Collegium system was not even a part of the structure of the constitution. How can it become a part of the basic structure of the constitution? First point. Now, second point is, to the best of my knowledge of English, consultation can never become concurrence. This is how the Supreme Court interpreted. And then after making consultation as concurrence, they abrogated the powers of the executive, which was based on the, mind you, based on the separation of powers of the executive, judiciary and legislature. They abrogated through a back door the collegium appointment of judges through a collegium system. Nowhere in the world judges appoint themselves. Nowhere in the world, because that system is not based on accountability or transparency. Accountability in a democracy, as we have a parliamentary democracy, is based on the parliamentary system where elected representatives are responsible for the people. If they commit anything wrong, the people punish them. The way Mrs. Indira Gandhi, who played with the judiciary, was punished by the people, was thrown out from the prime ministership, and the entire Congress was thrown out. So therefore, today, something which is an ideal situation is to go back to the original position which our Constituent Assembly had clearly put it in the Constitution. And if you need to know the intention of the Parliament at that point of time, or Constituent Assembly, you need to see the Constituent Assembly debates. Because any interpretation of an article has to be seen what was the intention of the Constituent Assembly while framing the Constitution. Otherwise, you will not be able to know the intention of the Constituent Assembly. So therefore, Supreme Court could have only seen the intention of the Constituent Assembly while drafting Article 124 and 217 and 222 of the Constitution. That is the only limited role. You cannot substitute concurrence for consultation. Or make collegium system instead of consultation, which is an integral part of. And mind you, Rahul, Supreme Court did not declare 124 and 217 as ultra vires the Constitution. Please remember that.
Yeah.
Those wordings still continue. They read something which was not even there. Fantastic explanation, unfathomable by me or anybody who knows constitutional law.
Okay.
And therefore, today what we see happening is a right time to restore the Constitution. Trust of the will of the people has to be restored. A system accountable to the people, the will of the people through elected representatives.
Prateek Som, come in on this. Prateek Som, come in on this. I have to ask you, as per Article 124, 217, the President appointed, as you know, Supreme Court and High Court justices. The President was required to consult the Chief Justice of India. Only consult. Only consult. But this was not binding upon him.
See, let me first put a legal context and precedent as to why Honorable Chief Justice of India has recommended an in-house inquiry in this case. See, Rahul, there is a judgment of 2014 written by the then Chief Justice, Justice Keher, which prescribes a procedure that in cases where there are allegations against the sitting High Court judge, and currently the Honorable CJI is only following that. Step number 4 clearly mentions that an inquiry has to be done by 3 members, out of which there has to be 2
Mr.
High Court Chief Justices and 1 High Court Judge.
Let me just complete.
I'll come to that. I'll come to your question as well.
You're a legal lawyer. I have to ask you a question.
I'll tell you why.
I thought that the basis of every investigation is a panchnama. 1 second. I thought that the basis of every investigation is a panchnama, is an FIR. I'm an unlettered person. Correct me. Correct me.
I'll tell you. There is a procedure which has to be followed. Now the procedure says that if this committee says that there is a substance to the allegation, then there are actions which Honorable CJI can take.
How do I know? How do I know that judges are not favoring judges when they are sitting in judgment of their brother judges?
Rahul, if you will not allow me, people will not understand the context. See, I understand the emotional value at this moment.
The context has been explained by Mr. Kazmi tonight.
Coming on the Indian judiciary.
Whose brother lawyers are today out on the streets.
Now let me tell you, Rahul, the basic structure of Constitution also says that there is separation of powers and independence of judiciary. Now, how can you imagine that executive appointing judiciary and then giving such kind of verdicts, which once
sir, name me one
Allahabad
country
High
in the
Court,
world that the judiciary
declares
appoints
that the
itself.
prime
Name me one
sitting prime
country, sir.
minister,
Give me one
elections in null and
jurisdiction
void.
where the judiciary appoints itself. Name me
See,
one
there
country.
there are not countries where the basic structure of our constitution also talks about separation of
I'm
power.
asking you,
See, if a
Mr.
judge has
Som,
done
I'm
this,
asking you,
and
name
if
me
a
one
inquiry-
leading
if-
democracy where judges
Rahul-
appoint themselves. Any one.
Our judges
Name
are
me.
appointed by government. here
Name me
also.
one.
It's a
Name
lie.
me one, sir.
Rahul, you
Lie
have
that
to
San
Rahul, you have to let me
Also
complete
judges
my
are appointed
submissions.
by
No, I
the
think
There
Mr.
is a
Som,
government.
see,
one second,
even if
one
it's
second,
even
one
if
second.
even
Mr.
if
Som, you're
Rahul,
repeating- you're
if
repeating
even if
all the
it's
stuff.
if it's a common man or a politician or a judge, there is a procedure to investigate. Now the
Sir,
allegations
if
has
the
come on
in-house
record.
committee comes
Now,
out and
as per
says
the
that there is
judgment of
nothing
the
against,
Supreme
no, one
Court
second, let me
in
ask you, this is a
2014,
counterintuitive
there is
question, it's a very
procedure-
simple one, Mr. Som. If tomorrow the in-house committee comes out and says there was nothing justiciable in this matter, nothing prosecutable, am I supposed to believe it?
No, Rahul, I would like to come in.
One second, sir, I'm not asking you the question, Mr.
See,
Som.
then,
No,
then
no,
you
no.
want
What
that-
days
see
the
Rahul,
Supreme
then
Court
Then
said
what
is
happens?
right.
See, Rahul, there can be
Yes,
emotional value to your question, but I, as a
Emotional
lawyer,
value?
will only reply with
Mr.
a legal
Jain,
question in
Mr.
it.
Jain, I want
yes,
your
I'll
quick
tell you why.
response on
I'll
this.
tell you why. If it-
Senior-most individual
for
on this
example,
panel is responding.
if
One
for a
second,
judge-
Mr. Jain, explain this to me. If tomorrow the in-house panel comes and says there is no justiciable, there is no
first of all,
evidentiary value
what days
to
the
anything,
Nigam said
am
is
I
a
going
lie.
to be able to believe
It
it?
is lie that
One
no
second,
I will like
one
to-
second. Sir,
I will
please,
like to
let's
make
lower his
two-
failure. This is not right. Mr. Jain is being brought
I
in.
will
Yes.
like to make two submissions. Number one,
Yes.
let us not see it as confrontation between the judiciary, executive, or the legislature.
Exactly.
It's a time when all the three have to sit together and find out the solution to avoid such type of shameless incident which has happened in Delhi few days back. Number
Allegedly.
two, let's have faith in the system. I know 2 out of the 3 judges committee which has been constituted who have been practicing here, they are working as judges. Full faith in them. We have to have faith in the legislature. We have to faith in the judiciary, the Chief Justice and the Parliament and the Vice President of India. I am very confident all their efforts will take us to the logical end. And ultimately within a very short time, we will be able to see the good result. I want to give just one example. If somebody commits a murder, even in the presence of the judge, he will not take him straight away and hang him, saying that you have committed a murder in my presence, so I hang you. Procedure has to be followed.
Okay.
Some
So
procedure
I
has
want
to
to
be
leave
followed which is
viewers.
reasonable,
I
and we
want
have to
you.
keep
I want
No,
you.
Rahul, you have to give me 10 seconds.
No, no.
Rahul, you have to give me 10 seconds.
No, no, sir.
Please, you have to give me 10 seconds.
I have to
Let's
move on.
not politicalize.
No, no.
Let not
No,
opposition
what
doubt
Rahul-
everything.
what date
It's
does
the
the
question
Nigam
of the
saying is a
system.
lie?
Yeah,
not
let's
of
not
the
let's not
political
make
party.
this political.
10 seconds.
You're right,
You have to
Mr.
give me
Jain.
10
I look,
You have
Mr.
to give
Jain.
me
I have
10
to end
seconds.
this
You
in
have
the
to give me
public
10
interest. Please, 1 second. Let's lower everyone's failures. Viewers, I want to park a thought with you. If the judiciary, and I'm sorry, I have to say this, but if the judiciary was so committed to transparency, why is it that no criminal case or criminal action followed in the Justice V. Ramaswamy case? That no action followed in the Justice Sumitra Sen case or the Justice P.D. Dinakaran case? Why, viewers? They all resigned, at least 2 of them did. Why? Why, viewers? Impeachment motions were passed in the Sumitra Sen case. Clearly there was some reason to believe that the person was not above board. No action. Imagine. I leave it to you, viewers, to think this. And I want you to therefore extend that logic and ask yourself, can the status quo therefore hold? Think about it. Let's move on, viewers, because this is a very, very important story. We've discussed one particular institution which is critical to democracy. Now I want us to discuss an idea which is critical to democracy. If you would have read the papers today, you would have noticed the extensive coverage on their front pages of the violent backlash against a prominent anti-Modi voice and self-proclaimed comedian called Kunal Kamra. Even on X or other social media platforms, opposition politicians and sundry journalists were crying foul over the attack on Kamra and linking it to shrinking space for free speech in India. But did you know that apart from Kamra, another prominent YouTuber in Tamil Nadu under DMK rule was being put through much worse? Look at the pictures on your screens. These videos are from the home of YouTuber Savuku Shankar. You see a mob dressed as sanitary workers throwing buckets of feces feces and filth into his home. And look at how they surround his mother. Even his aged mother wasn't spared, threatened as she was with dire consequences. Shankar has accused the Chennai Police Commissioner A. Arun of being behind the attack and released CCTV footage showing the group vandalizing his home. Shankar alleged that the intruders snatched his mother's phone, initiated a video call with him, and issued direct threats. Shankar's mother suspects the attack was linked to Shankar's recent expose on alleged corruption in the procurement of sewage trucks. The YouTuber has since pointed fingers at top police officials in Chennai, claiming the assault was orchestrated at their behest. Shankar's latest videos have also implicated a senior Congress leader in corruption allegations. Viewers, Savuku is a whistleblower. And YouTuber. He was a former lower division clerk in the Directorate of Vigilance and Anti-Corruption till he was removed because he exposed an alleged wrongdoing. Since then, he has refashioned himself as an investigative journalist and trouble has followed. His platform was often known as the WikiLeaks of Tamil Nadu. In May 2024, Shankar was arrested for allegedly making derogatory remarks against senior police officials and female police personnel during a YouTube interview. This incident led to widespread criticism and legal action against him. In August 2024, he was detained under the Gundas Act in connection with the possession of 500 grams of ganja found in his car during a police search in Theni. The detention sparked debates about the use of the Gundas Act and its implications for freedom of expression. Shankar's detentions have been contested in court. In September 2024, the Supreme Court ordered his release after Tamil Nadu revoked his detention order related to the drugs case. What does that tell you, viewers? But Savuku's trials and tribulations are not widely commented upon. Why? Is it because in this country, reporting on attacks on free speech has become a politically selective exercise? Are attacks only on those speaking truths to power to BJP worth reporting? It would appear so, at least if one considers the hard facts. And I always bring you the hard facts so you can get closer to the truth, viewers. Think about this. For every left ecosystem favorite who is hounded, there are several on the other side of the political fence being crushed. 2 women journalists arrested in Telangana for post against Congress Chief Minister Revanth Reddy in March 2025. Actor turned MP Kangana Ranaut office bulldozed following her critical views of the erstwhile Mahavikas Aghadi government. And this is when the MVA was in power. Under MVA, actress Ketaki Chitale had faced arrest in 2022 for allegedly sharing a derogatory post about NCP chief Sharad Pawar on social media. She later got bail. In 2022, Saad Ansari was arrested by the Mumbai police for supporting BJP spokesperson Nupur Sharma on social media. None of these people, viewers, made it to the front page of any newspaper. No Editors Guild took up their case. No press council came running out saying that this is very, very bad. YouTuber Maridas arrested for tweets criticizing the DMK government. What this selective outrage is doing is giving a free pass to the opposition to quash criticism in the jurisdictions where they govern. Now, this isn't insignificant, given that the opposition is in power in states that are home to 4 of India's biggest cities and almost the entire South. Don't citizens in these states, in these provinces, deserve to know what their representatives are doing? Beyond this, there is also the credibility of the opposition. A democracy is only as strong as the opposition. How can an opposition that has conceded the moral high ground, that is compromised, that has a poorer record than the BJP, hold the government at the center to account with conviction? Viewers, the hard facts raise some pointed questions. Are some critics or dissidents more equal than others? Has the opposition conceded the moral right to hold the BJP to account on issues related to free speech? Are civil society groups who are supposed to fight for free speech ideologically blinkered? These are the questions, and let's pose them tonight, viewers. Let's go straight across to our guests. And I want to begin first with Mr. Gawande. Mr. Gawande, spokesperson of the NCP, Sharad Pawar. Karan Varma, an author, is also here with us. Sanjeev Srivastava, senior journalist, is also here with us. And of course, Uma Anandan, who is a prominent leader of the Bharatiya Janata Party in Tamil Nadu. So, Mr. Gawande, I want to ask you today, Mr. Sanjeev Srivastava. Maybe I'll begin with you, Mr. Srivastava, tonight. It's important. Look, I call out attacks such as this, whether it's through bulldozers or it is through hate speeches, intimidation, etc., across party lines. None of us can stand up for this. None of us. But I want to ask you, why is it that certain anti-establishment, anti-Modi, anti-BJP figures are given prominence in this media of ours on the front page, that Editors Guild, Press Council, everyone leaps up and down when their rights are infringed, and a complete blinkered approach is taken to people like Suvu Kumar? Which newspaper has put him on the front page, Mr. Srivastava, and why? Why not?
Well, good evening, Rahul.
Good evening, sir.
I completely agree with you. I think they should have put him on front page. It's equally condemnable. But sometimes what happens is that certain news takes more prominence because it was Mumbai, because he was targeting big figures, big well-known names. And the YouTuber of Tamil Nadu, Chennai incident, was targeting maybe some sanitary workers, so that did not get the same kind of prominence. But that's not the point. In principle, I'm in complete agreement that a spade is a spade, whichever shade it is. So right or left, liberal or not so liberal, everybody who tries and curbs freedom of expression, or is not just chilled enough, or doesn't have that funny bone, or these are matters, especially this Kunal Kamra's case.
We should leave it to
One should
editorial
just laugh
discretion,
and move
you're
on.
saying.
If you don't agree, don't watch. And yes, I have said today, I have done my own little YouTube version on this. On certain issues, I have taken objection to Kunal Kamra. Like when he talks about a prominent industrialist's son, I thought that was in very bad taste. You should not talk about anybody who has any kind of body shaming should not be done.
No, this is
And
not
there
about
nothing,
you.
no public
Let's make
good
it
is
very
being
clear.
served.
This is not about an individual. This is not about an individual journalist. I'm just talking about an ecosystem, and I'm tired of the ecosystem dictating the rules of journalism in this country when they are so compromised themselves, viewers, so politically selective and worse, viewers. Worse.
So, Rahul, I honestly
worse.
wonder if there was no Shankar case today, would we be having this discussion? See,
Of course
Kunal
we
Kamra
would
case
be.
has
I
been
had
going
this
on for 2
discussion
days.
yesterday, and I've come back to it tonight because this
Okay,
this
that's very
case,
nice.
yes, this case exemplified, viewers, exemplifies what I said yesterday. And I took a position yesterday. I took a position in favor of Mr. Kamra. I said Mr. Kamra should not have been subjected to a vilification, intimidation campaign. But that doesn't mean that in our democracy, we champion the free speech of only those we think are going to further our political interests. That would be an assault on
So I'm
democratic
completely
principles.
with you, Rahul.
And I'm glad you do, sir, because unfortunately, with the conviction with which I make my case, people have very little option but to agree with me. Let me quickly go across. Let me go across.
You are telling
Let me
me
go
that I'm
across.
agreeing on some kind of duress or compulsion.
No, I'm not.
No,
I'm
that's
making
not the case.
I'm speaking from conviction because it hurts me, viewers.
But
where
I am
certain,
not agreeing
you see, there is a
in some
prominent
pressure or duress,
journalist
Rahul.
today. Prominent journalist today who was called out for his selectiveness, and he says, "Oh, let's not indulge in whataboutery." Can you believe it, viewers? He has no concern for the democratic right of the people of Chennai, the people of Tamil Nadu, some people in the south to know what is happening in their state because he's become a camp follower. Can you believe it, viewers? This is journalism tonight. 101 being butchered. And we're tired of it. Karan Varma, what do you make of this? Listen, let's be honest tonight. There is a political angle behind why certain stories are being played up. Am I right in saying this or am I wrong? Correct me if I'm wrong.
You are absolutely right. And unfortunately, when you talk about an ecosystem, today we have stand-up comedians, so-called fact checkers who are a part of this ecosystem, who will selectively outrage and peddle a narrative. And the individual we are talking about right now, let's understand who this individual is. And I'm not talking about one individual, but he represents the larger design. This man has been hobnobbing with a terror accused who has been seeking adjournments and then crying that he is not getting a bail in the Delhi riots case. This man has intruded the private space of a journalist on a plane and has gone on to intimidate him. This man sought sadistic pleasure when Kangana Ranaut's house was demolished. So he is one of the foremost proponents of this sort of intellectual vandalism, if I may say so. So yes, we are against vandalism of any sort. But let's not, act as babies here. They don't raise a voice when something happens to Professor Mahapatra, who was locked inside jail for 11 years just because he forwarded a cartoon of Mamata Banerjee. They suddenly, freedom of speech for them flourishes in Bengal, it flourishes in Delhi, where a journalist is targeted. So this selectivism, this hypocrisy needs to be called out. And I'm glad you are doing a story on this. This needs to be called out because, you can't have this meetha meetha gup gup and this kadwa kadwa tutu, because that's gone on for far too long. And this is not whataboutery. This is fixing accountability. If it should not hurt you only if it comes on your shoe. The yardstick has to be the same for everyone. Why look the other way when something happens in Mamata Banerjee's Bengal? Why do you do that? Why hasn't Kunal Kamra not done a single piece on what's happened with the Sheikh, Shahjahan Sheikh, the entire story? Why did he not talk about the liquor scam ever? So these people, let's understand, there is an entire gravy train that's taking care of them. If we get to the root of it, you'll be very surprised, Rahul. You'll find out that their handlers are pretty much the same, and they lead up to Sajjad Numani, to Swara Bhaskar, all these people.
Paid or unpaid,
production designers
influenced
or
or
anyone.
uninfluenced,
This is an ecosystem.
everyone has a right to free speech. I'm not, whether he's been paid, whether he's sponsored, whether he is, wearing the badge of a political party, card-carrying member, I don't care. Kamra has a right to say what he has to say, as long as he is following the law. And I don't see how he has in any way broken the law in doing what he has done. I'm not an apologist for his humor. I don't like his sense of humor. I think it's quite immature. But that's his call, and that's left to the people to decide who they subscribe to. But that brings me to Mr. Gawande and Uma. Uma ji, I have to ask you first things first, because many people will say that, the BJP tonight is upset that this gent, Mr. Savuku, has been attacked, but will do nothing to pull up its own alliance partners who targeted Mr. Kamra. So they will say that, look, you can make all the noises provided you have a clean pair of hands. You don't have a clean pair of hands. How do you respond to that criticism, Ms. Anandan?
See, first understand one thing. Mr. Savuku Shankar has been most critical of the BJP. He has posted some nasty comments with pictures even of the Prime Minister Modi with his mother. He posted a picture and said only a glass is missing. He has behaved like that, and he is no friend of BJP. But there cannot be a comparison of what happened to Mr. Kamra and what happened to Mr. Shankar's mother. Pushing aside all the differences, just on a humanitarian basis, I don't think a lady, a senior citizen, could have been treated in this nasty manner. Words fail to express what, and I feel ashamed to repeat what happened. And if you take Tamil Nadu, a lot of things against, we are not allowed to protest, even a peaceful protest. The police come and arrest us. It happened just about 3-4 days ago on this. Why was the police doing, what were they doing when this old lady, a senior citizen, alone at her home, she had to undergo this. This is worse than a physical abuse that anybody could have undergone. This is an emotional abuse.
So you're
I
saying
think that lady is going to take long time
so you're
to
saying
recover
on
from
principle
this.
you have taken
And again, I'm telling.
On principle you have taken up cudgels for this individual, even though he is no friend of the BJP. Okay, I appreciate that line. Let me bring in Mr. Gawande. Mr. Gawande, you represent the NCP Sharad Pawar, which is part of the India Alliance, which is also in alliance with the UBT, Shiv Sena. Can I ask you a question? The UBT Shiv Sena today is standing in judgment of everybody. They are the ones, the UBT Shiv Sena was founded by a cartoonist, a polemicist, And subsequently, all through their history, they have either blackened the face of people, terrorized them for speaking their mind, etc., etc. I want to ask you, if you're so committed to the concept of free speech, freedom of expression, why is this alliance in place? Where is the connection point? You were in power with them when Kangana Ranawat's offices were being demolished and the courts had to stop. You were in alliance with them with Ms. Chitale was jailed. For 40 days her liberty was looted. Would you like to be in jail for 40 days? Do you know what it's like? And the courts had to step in. Where were you?
Rahul, at the very outset, I'd like to say that, one, I don't want to score any political brownie points here today.
But you can't.
And more importantly, I want to say very clearly that as someone who grew up in Mumbai, facing this sort of violent hooliganism over the course of the last 20 years, I am the first person to be speaking out against such political violence. My party leader, Supriya Sule,
So tell
just in a
me,
press
has
conference.
Supriya, no, you've named Supriya Sule.
Literally
Where is
an hour
her
ago.
comment? Where is
Literally an
her
hour
comment?
ago.
1 second. Where is
An hour
her
ago.
comment? Where is her comment saying that we made a mistake in Kangana Ranawat's case number 1? We made a mistake in Chitali's case number 2. We made a mistake in the case
actually-
of... Yes, go ahead.
You
Tell
must
me.
actually see her comments on these cases.
Saad
because quite
Ansari.
honest, the reality is, Rahul,
show
that
me.
there are two distinct things that need to be seen, right? So Supriya was the first one to calm tensions down after the multiple FIRs filed against KP Chitale.
Calm.
And said the law must
Calm
be enforced,
tensions
but
down.
we do not-
Has
no,
she
no,
apologized?
We do not need to go
Has she
against-
apologized?
No, no. Rahul, this was FIRs filed before a court of law, and a court of law
No, one
taking these
second.
decisions.
You see,
This
Mr.
is-
Gawande, why I'm asking you this
Yeah,
question? Because you
fundamentally
have sought an
different from
apology
political
from Mr. Shinde, from Fadnavis. You have sought action against these
Absolutely.
individuals. So I'm asking you,
For the simple reason, Rahul, that
Yeah.
action that is taken through a misuse of a law that happens even through a
Okay.
court process is very different from trashing a studio, a comedy club.
look, I'm
and the
not
hotel
here
that
in
we
defense
stay
of
at.
that. I think it
Compared
was
to-
pathetic.
No,
It
I'll
was
tell
not
you-
the
I'll
right
tell
thing to
you
be
quite
doing.
honestly,
But
right,
I
Rahul?
have to still
No,
ask you
we've
this
faced-
question.
I'll tell you
Where
precise-
where are your own internal checks and balances? You can only hold the
Political
BJP to account when you are squeaky clean,
Political
but you are
violence.
not. You have filth on your hands
Political
also.
violence.
You're compromised.
Political violence is something we've dealt with through the
Okay.
Supreme Court for a long time, right? We've said that whoever breaks property like this should pay for it.
Okay.
Secondly, we've had multiple interventions saying that such breaking of property should attract fines.
All
Now,
that
I
is
want to
well
tell you
taken. All that is well taken. But who
The
are you
reality
to
is-
sit in judgment of anyone else when you are as compromised?
Sharat
Anyhow, one
Tawari
second.
Sahib.
Let me just bring in Mr. One second. This is very important, viewers, because I'm told that we have with us Mr. Savuku joining us. And I would like to speak to him. What happened yesterday, sir? Please describe.
I was starting to my office around 9:45. I was starting to my office in my vehicle. My house is placed in a small narrow lane. I saw two buses parked in that lane. I was wondering what is happening, what function or any event is happening in this lane, why two buses are parked. After my vehicle crossed for about 50 meters, I saw people running behind my vehicle and started throwing stones. I sensed that something is wrong and these people in these buses have come only to target me. So I asked my mom, I called my mom and told her not to open the door and keep the doors locked, but she immediately said people are banging on the door. So I disconnected the call and called the police control room and filed a complaint that people are attacking my house. I contacted my police officers known to me and reported about the developments. They said that they all promised help. And after 10 to 15 minutes, I called back my mom to ascertain what is the situation. She said that people have broken open the back door of the house. They have entered in. Suddenly, somebody snatched the phone from my mom's house and they made a video call to me. And in the video call, they told that had you been available in this house, we would have burnt you. Look what we are doing to your house. And they showed me how they are ransacking the house. I disconnected the call and contacted the police officials, and they said that, sir, we are caught up in traffic, we are traveling from here, we'll reach in the spot, you don't worry. They kept assuring me, but actually they reached the spot only after 40 minutes.
So one second.
I was very
who
worried about-
targeted you, Mr. Shankar? Who targeted you?
The entire target of my story in that scheme is, I said that the main beneficiary of the scheme is Mr. Selvaparandahai. The firm Gen Management and Logistics Private Limited is registered in a building in Chennai Street, T Nagar. And if you visit the building shows nothing about functioning of a company called Gen Management and Logistics. Instead, the building has posters of Mr. Selvakarthai. When I inquired around that locality, everybody says that building was under encroachment by Mr. Selvakarthai for more than 30 years.
So you're alleging, Mr. Shankar, you're alleging political vendetta. Now, this is, viewers, of course, we will have to check with the person you are imputing guilt upon, Mr. Shankar. But prima facie, looking at these pictures, whether these people are working at the behest of who you are naming tonight or not is immaterial. You definitely deserve security and you deserve justice. One just hopes that the DMK government arrests some of these goons and takes action. People are brought to book, and the exact reasons for this attack are made public. I leave it at that, viewers. You see where we are going as a country tonight, and it pains us. We have to rise above politics if we have to save our democracy, whether it is in the judges' matter or whether it is about saving free speech in this country and the democratic rights of the people. I leave it to you, viewers, to mull these issues over. Vantage coming up with Palki Sharma. Don't go away.
Presented by
Mr. President, your reaction to the story in The Atlantic that said that some of your top cabinet officials and aides had been discussing very sensitive material through Signal and included an Atlantic reporter for that. What is your response to that?
I don't know anything about it. I'm not a big fan of The Atlantic. To me, it's a magazine that's going out of business. I think it's not much of a magazine, but I know nothing about it. You're saying that they had what?
They were using Signal to coordinate on sensitive materials and
having to do with what? Having to do with what? What were they talking about?
With the Houthis.
The Houthis? You mean the attack on the Houthis? Well, it couldn't have been very effective because the attack was very effective. I can tell you that. I don't know anything about it. You're telling me about it for the first time.
Your information about war plans against the Houthis in Yemen was shared with a journalist in The Atlantic, and were those details classified?
You're talking about a deceitful and highly discredited so-called journalist who's made a profession of peddling hoaxes time and time again, to include the hoaxes of Russia, or the fine people on both sides hoax, or suckers and losers hoax. So this is the guy that peddles in garbage. This is what he does. I would love to comment on the Houthi campaign because of the skill and courage of our troops. I've monitored it very closely from the beginning. And you see, we've been managing 4 years of deferred maintenance under the Trump administration. Our troops, our sailors were getting shot at as targets. Our ships couldn't sail through. And when they did shoot back, it was purely defensively or at shacks in Yemen. President Trump said, no more. We will reestablish deterrence. We will open freedom of navigation, and we will ultimately decimate the Houthis, which is exactly what we're doing as we speak from the beginning, overwhelmingly.
Why were those details shared on Signal, and how did you learn that a journalist was privy to the targets, the types of weapons used?
I've heard I was characterized. Nobody was texting war plans, and that's all I have to say about that. Thank you. I appreciate it.
The NSC said it was authentic.
It's not, again, certainly not commenting on any particular filing or any particular case. If you lie in your efforts to come to the United States to get a visa for any reason or for a green card, maybe there haven't been repercussions or we haven't done things properly in the past. A lot of things have changed with the election of Donald Trump, as the American people have said. What has happened in the past is now unacceptable. We see the impact on people's lives, everybody's lives, and it's not anything new. We want to have the order back.
Trump administration officials as they were discussing these airstrikes in Yemen. What is your reaction to that, and do you believe there should be a congressional investigation?
It should absolutely be a congressional investigation so that we can understand what happened, why did it happen, and how do we prevent this type of national security breach from ever happening again. This is reckless, irresponsible, and dangerous.
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. The top headline today comes from a Signal group. Signal as in the messaging app. Top US officials discuss their war plans